I did a 1 year's master's right in the middle of the pandemic at UCL, and it absolutely was not what I was sold. Sort of studying a master's in international politics at London's Global University is supposed to be a space for people from all different backgrounds, different experiences, cultural perspectives to come together and to share and exchange and to carry those perspectives out into the world. And what we ended up with was online seminars where nobody spoke. And the reason for that is it's just nearly impossible to generate the sort of environment in an online seminar where people feel comfortable to share controversial opinions. For that, you need the space in between the seminars. You need the social interaction to build trust and to build those networks to then carry out into our careers. That's what the universities market themselves with.
Absolutely, I entirely see that. Why were the universities to blame? They didn't create the pandemic.
No, they didn't. And nobody's trying to blame the universities, but the fact is that the universities saved money by moving tuition online during the pandemic.
Can you quantify that?
And we lost out on our experience. No, I can't quantify that. They haven't made the statistics available. But we lost out on the experience there, and we were promised a service. There was a decision made in the UK to make education a commodity and students consumers. And we are burdened with enormous debt where we can barely pay off the interest each month because of that. And it has to work both ways. If we are made into consumers, then we have consumer rights and we're allowed to assert them.
It seems to me, by the way, sticking with you, David, just for the moment, that this goes back a little bit further. You talk about being made into consumers. But funnily enough, you're not, in this sense, that this is the only field in which good products and bad products all sell at the same price. A Rolls-Royce and a bicycle do not sell at the same price. But in university education, the worst course at the worst university sells at the same price, I think broadly speaking anyway, as the best course in the best university. I mean, that's mad. There's no market there at all. You're not consumers at all.
Well, I know, but we should be, and that's the way that the policy was designed. The £9,000 fee cap, of course, there's no cap on master's tuition, so I paid much more. But the £9,000 is supposed to be a cap, and there's supposed to be a competitive market underneath that, with universities competing for students and pushing up their standards. It's clearly a sign of a failed model that cap is actually just a price that all universities stick to. And it's a sign of a failed model that the lecturers are striking at the moment, for example. It means that the financial pressures on universities are unbearable, and clearly the model doesn't work in the way that it was designed.
Ryan, what hopes do you have of this action?
Oh, I'm expecting it to succeed. I wouldn't be doing it on a no-win, no-fee basis if I thought differently. We have a large team of solicitors working on it at 2 different law firms. We have a team of barristers working on it, including King's Counsel. We're very confident that it's going to win.
The question I put to David a moment ago, did the universities save money?
It's not so much that they saved money. What they did was, because they weren't constrained by lecture theatres and resources in terms of physical resources, they actually massively increased their student numbers and their fee income from students. So, for instance, UCL, which is the university David went to, increased their fee income by 41%. King's College London, even more, by 48%.
During the pandemic?
During the pandemic. So every university that we've written to so far has increased its fee income massively, but we're seeing this across the board. Not only that, they took furlough money and they saved money from not having to pay for heating and other expenses. It's much cheaper to regurgitate the same lectures 2 years in a row on Zoom than it is actually to provide the service that they were paid for.
So some people who might be worried, Ryan, that this is going to bankrupt the universities and that won't do anyone any good, you would say absolutely not. This is money which is sort of swilling around in the system. Absolutely.
The first 18 universities we've written to have a £1 billion surplus from the pandemic, and they have more than £16 billion worth of assets. Whereas you compare that to the students, who have loans, no assets, no income. Who's the vulnerable party here? It's not the universities.